All right, gang. I've kind of looked at this camera setup. I don't know. It's just so dark. I can't figure out how to light my face up very well. But take it for this one. All right. Anyways, maybe if I move a little closer, it's a little better. But still, we are a couple days after the end of the Screen Actors Guild Awards. Going 4 for 6 ain't bad. I'm glad I stuck with my guns with the Chicago 7 one. It was very, very tempting to pick Minari there, but lucked out here. And if I would have listened to one of my fake Gold Derby predictions, I actually would have gotten 5 for 6 if I stuck with Viola. But I don't know. I felt like that was one. Yeah, I wasn't going to go back to her, so that one I was going to miss regardless. Anyway, so real quick before we get to this, because the main topic today, of course, is going to be BAFTA predictions, final predictions for who's going to win. We've got until Sunday for those, but figured I might as well cast some light on who I'm predicting here and stuff. We'll start from the Rising Star Award and kind of go up from there to the various other awards there. But anyways, does the SAG Awards, does that boost anybody? Does that give anybody more confidence? All that stuff. I don't know. I think other than, well, the two supporting races is definitely, Daniel Kaluuya. If he had lost to, say, Leslie Odom or somebody like that, that would have left a little bit more in question. But now with Daniel Kaluuya winning that one as well, it really does seem like he's almost got it under lock and key now for supporting actor. I would say the same for Chadwick Boseman, but I don't know. I'm kind of getting a little bit of a groundswell here. I was kind of late to the game on The Father, and a lot of people are. I think it's a movie that I think people are seeing just at the right time to where, I don't know, there might actually be a path to victory for Anthony Hopkins still. I mean, it sounds weird. A few months ago you would have sounded like, wow, you're really stretching there. But I don't know. It's really weird because I remember right before I switched to Chadwick Boseman there in the fall, I was saying, I was picking Anthony Hopkins at the time, and I'm like, well, unless people get bored with Anthony Hopkins and they want to go to something else. Now it's like that table is flipped, and it's the other way around. It's like I'm starting to, I mean, not right now, I mean, not everywhere, but I'm starting to get a sense that there's a possibility that some voters are kind of getting sick of Chadwick winning all the time, and they're seeing The Father, and in retrospect, it has more nominations than Ma Rainey's. Is up for Best Picture and Screenplay, which Ma Rainey's is not. Overall, Ma Rainey's was kind of a bigger disappointment Oscars morning, and The Father overperformed by most estimates, getting into 2 tech categories as well as Screenplay, Picture, Actor, and Supporting Actress. So, in some ways, overall, the Academy had a much finer reception to The Father, and it's questionable there since Ma Rainey's couldn't even pull a screenplay nomination. And I thought more likely it was going to miss screenplay than picture, but it couldn't even get into picture either with 8 nominees there. It couldn't be that 9th nominee or whatever, and be the 7th film with 6 nominations or something. I mean, wow. I mean, they couldn't. Yeah, they just didn't quite like it enough. So I don't know. I mean, obviously, I'm not quite there yet. I'm not boosting. I'm not boosting Anthony Hopkins to the the winner position for the Oscars. BAFTA will be interesting though. BAFTA, it's going to be really, really interesting to see if he can win there. And we'll get to the predictions here in a minute. But yeah, that one is kind of a coin toss, I think, for that category. I think for supporting actress, Yoo Jun-young or Yoo Jung, however you go by her spelling of it there. I think Yoo Jung, I think is how most people are saying it now. So I'll say it as well to fit in tune there. Then we can all be wrong together, right? Yoo Jung, I think after that SAG win, especially that very nice speech, kind of surprise speech she had, where it was a very real moment there. Even if it was trimmed down. Yeah, I think she could very easily now continue that onto BAFTA and then also onto the Oscars. I'd still be a little wary of Maria Bakalova too. If she wins at BAFTA, then that could get her a little bit more momentum before the Oscars. And then there's still, I mean, I wouldn't give up hope on the Glenn Close thing yet either. I mean, it's possible. I'll get into it a little bit here when we get into the top 8 categories at BAFTA. I'll have a few things to say about how they correlate to the Oscars and stuff. But now I think we're all in panic mode in Best Actress. I mean, it's literally now a scenario where I can make a sound argument on all 5 nominees. literally all 5 nominees, I think, have at least a sliver of a chance to win. And again, I've after that, I'm really weighing a lot of options there in Best Actress, as I'm sure most of us are. So I'll talk about that when we get to BAFTA here as well for Actress. Okay, so with that being said, the one I got wrong, of course, was Wonder Woman. I don't know. I just was gonna get that wrong regardless. I just didn't feel that one was the one they liked, but it was. And then Chicago 7 for ensemble. It felt like that kind of inevitable one in some ways, and that's why I stuck with it. But yeah, I don't really get the sense that it's a huge lift for the film, though, like in the Best Picture discussion. Not really, no. It feels like after WGA and stuff, it feels like Promising Young Woman, and Critics' Choice also went with that for screenplay. It really does feel like Aaron Sorkin's probably not going to win that one. I mean, it's still got a shot in editing, I think. It could still win there. But I mean, it could go 0 for 6 at the Oscars, really. I mean, it's in the position to do that. And I don't see it just winning picture by itself. I think it would have to at least take screenplay and literally be, spotlight, and get just those 2. Potentially plus editing. I mean, then you get the, as some have said this season, then you get the Argo repeat, where it did those 3 categories there. But I don't know, I sense more passion around Sound of Metal. And, I forgot, I was going to do, because I was thinking about it earlier tonight. I was looking at all my predictions and stuff. For that first, because DGA is also this weekend, so I wanted to briefly touch on that too. It does feel like, the overall director category, that's a no-brainer. That's Chloe Zhao. I really don't see that going any other way. But that the first-time director race, I think it's a 3-way race between Florian Zeller, Regina King, and Darius Marder for their respective works. I'm thinking Darius Marder right now. I think the popular pick is Regina King, and overall in the industry, she does have a lot of respect. And this category, the voting branch here, directors, is made up of a lot of television and commercial directors. Regina's, I forget which one, but one of the car brands. She is kind of in those commercials, and of course she's done before One Night in Miami. All her directorial work has been on TV, so it would make a lot of sense for them to pick her. But I'm thinking Darius Marder here. I'm thinking Sound of Metal overall, between, even though The Father also has the same, almost not, obviously not the exact same categories, but it has the same number of nominations and in relatively the same spots as The Father. Getting screenplay, getting a couple acting nominations, getting picture, and getting a couple tech categories, but missing for director. I don't know. I think there's a little bit more passion in this respect for Sound of Metal for Darius Marder, and so I'm going to go with him here. But for that first time directing category. But again, that it's really, you can flip a die 3 sides, and it's like, okay, pick the one that it lands on or whatever, but put their face on one side of each or whatever. But still, that's going to be a fun one to watch after it gets revealed on Saturday night. Anyway, so that with that being said, we'll now move into BAFTA predictions here. Like I said, we'll start with Rising Star, then go through the text and stuff, and move up from there. So I think the Rising Star, it's really going to be close here, but I think Kingsley Ben-Adir is the one that'll pull it out. Bucky McRae, I think legit has a shot in Best Actress still. Morphet Clark is in a film that disappointed, and I really don't see her as being the surprise winner here, but I think she's a third place vote here that you can say has still somewhat of a shot there, but I think it really comes down to those 2, and Kingsley, I think, will do it there. Though again, it's and it's voted on by the public, so obviously it's not going to have a lot of crossover there between the voters. So if the voters are thinking Bucky for actress, then we could see her win both. Okay, we'll go to the rest of the text here. Visual effects. It does feel like Tenet here. Midnight Sky pulled off a pretty good upset there at the Visual Effects Guild last night. And I'm really thinking there's actually a legit shot that it could win at the Oscars now, but I don't know. Tenet still feels like it's pretty far ahead there, so it would have to be kind of a bigger surprise. But I think Tenet still wins at BAFTA, and then also will repeat at the Oscars there. Let's see. Moving into the sound category, since I think this one relatively, even though we have Nomadland in the mix here, I think Sound of Metal is the one to win here. I really don't know who else really stands a huge shot here other than maybe Greyhound, but yeah, I think Sound of Metal has it. Score, that should be Soul. Yeah, that should be an easy one there. Makeup and hair. I think Ma Rainey's here. I have it repeating at the Oscars. It did fairly well at the Makeup Guild as well, so that one feels like it's in a pretty good spot there. So we'll move on to the production design category next here. This one, it feels like the best spot for Mank, and even though it did disappoint here at BAFTA, not getting into any of the top categories above screenplay, or sorry, including screenplay. Or no, I can't remember. This one missed screenplay, right? No, it's in for screen. The Oscars missed it, but it was, yeah, okay. Above screenplay. Yeah, I was right the first time. Yeah, it feels like the best spot for it to win anything here, because I don't see it winning for any of the other ones we've mentioned so far. And it does seem like overall it's going to be one that is going to do well here. We'll see if Mank, by the way, at the Oscars, I think it will win here in this category as well at the Oscars. But we'll see about the costume design category too. I mean, I've been mostly predicting Ma Rainey's there as well, but you know, through most of the season there. But I don't know. I think at the Costume Designers Guild, I do have Mank winning in an upset there, relative upset. I mean, I think actually it's leading right now on Gold Derby. But I don't know. I haven't seen if IndieWire's posted anything on their guild. I don't think they do a lot of guild predicting, anyways, that I've seen. But I think, yeah, I think if Mank can win at the Costume Designers Guild, the Mank costumes are also nominated here at BAFTA, but I don't see him going there. But we'll get to that category here now. I think for now I'm going with this one. I'm going with the Oscar frontrunner. I'm going with Ma Rainey's, but Emma is going to be one that I can see them very easily going with. Emma could easily come back and win this. Yeah, and it actually it's leading the poll right now at Gold Derby. And yeah, it's understandable why. But I think, I don't know, I think between that, The Dig, and Ammonite, some of those more, you know, popular British films and stuff, I think in some ways they kind of cancel each other out. But yeah, I'm going Ma Rainey's there. Let's see, in the film editing category, even though I think Sound of Metal wins at the Oscars, I think it's, and probably two at Ace Eddie, I'm going Chicago 7 here. It does have the film nomination. It does have... I'm going to double check here. I think it got screenplay and Sound of Metal did not, if I'm remembering right. Yeah. So it's got a little bit more prestige factor to it, I think, than Sound of Metal. And I think winning sound, I think, will still be a good result for them there. I think I don't know if I don't really see it going home empty-handed at BAFTA. Let's see, cinematography next. Yeah, this is another one Mank could come back to win at the Oscars, but and we'll see about the Cinematographers Guild. I think that's another spot where Mank could upset and win. Yeah, I think Nomadland though. Nomadland, I think here, and then probably at the Oscars too. It repeats, but again, we'll see what happens at the Cinematographers Guild, who I think we went into this last time. I think they're the last guild to go out. So if they go there, Mank wins at the Costume and Production Designers Guild, yeah, then we'll see if some of that crosses over to the popular vote at the Academy there amongst all voters. Okay, then we'll go to what do we want to do next? A foreign language film, yeah, because yeah, the order's a little messed up here at on Gold Derby here. I just kind of go off that because it's really easy to look here. Minari wins here, I think. Both this and another round are up for like director as well, but I don't know. I think Minari. It's every other time it's been up for a foreign language category or a film not in an English language as it's posted here. It's won, so I think they'll give it here. Let's see, for the documentary category, after My Octopus Teacher won at PGA, I don't think we mentioned that one much. I don't know. I think that one can really start to gain momentum the way that Free Solo did a few years ago there. and I think it's going to start winning everything going forward. So I think My Octopus Teacher wins here in a minor upset over films like Collective and David Attenborough, Life on Our Planet. But yeah, just keep in mind, David Attenborough's name is in the title and stuff, and he's pretty high British legend there. That could still happen, but I just remember my wrong prediction a few years ago with They Shall Not Grow Old in documentary, and that didn't pan out. I thought they would just go with it because it was World War I stuff and everything. But yeah, no dice on that one. Okay, then for animated feature, I think it's Soul. Yeah, Soul should win that one too. And then you go to the casting award. This one is really hard to decipher because, well, number one, it just started last year. It's only the second year they've had this category, and yeah, it's a tough one. I mean, I have Promising Young Woman winning here, just because I think they'll want to give it something other than screenplay. And since they don't have that option in director, they don't have that option in actress, I think they'll give it to it here. They could give it Best British Film, though. British Film is another one that can go a few different ways. Rocks has a decent shot here. Minari, I think, does stand a decent shot here. Even Judas and the Black Messiah getting a couple acting nominations here, one of them more or less unexpectedly for Dominic Fishback. That could point out a couple things there. Even Calm with Horses, the fifth nominee here, got a couple acting nominations. So I would say it's again, kind of like Best Actress at the Oscars. There's kind of a slim hope for everybody here to maybe get in a little bit and be a winner here. So yeah, I would say for now, yeah, I'm predicting Promising Young Woman, but it can go a few different ways there. Okay, so that's those categories. Now we'll get into the top 8, plus I always say British film for the end, too. The adapted screenplay race. And yeah, by the way, what we've kind of seen, kind of a trend here in the last few years. I'm just going to bring up one other thing here really quick before we get into it. But we've kind of seen a few trends here in the last few years with the top 8 categories at the Oscars. Because as we go into the Oscar ceremony, sometimes there's some categories we're questioning, you know. Like last year, a lot of us were questioning Best Picture, including myself. And I ended up going, you know, correctly with Parasite, but it was really, really tough not to go with 1917 or with maybe even an upset by something like Once Upon a Time in Hollywood. The 4 acting categories were secure last year. Screenplay, they were a little riskier, but I got them right with JoJo and Parasite. But again, it was kind of, you know, by the end, I think a lot of people got there too, but it was, you know, a couple of weeks before then, before the WGAs and stuff, everybody was kind of questioning those categories because, you know, obviously Little Women was competitive in adapted screenplay, and not Knives Out. Once Upon a Time in Hollywood was competitive in original screenplay, so it was really kind of anybody's race in a couple of those categories there. Or between the two in each one. I totally screwed that up, but you get what I mean. But it's like the one place we weren't looking for an upset though was director. You know, Sam Mendes had won virtually everything he could up to that point, including DGA. The only place he really didn't do it was a tie at Critics' Choice, where he tied with Bong Joon-ho. But it was Parasite and Bong Joon-ho who came through with that director win. The year before, again, director was solid that year. Alfonso Cuarón, we all knew. By the end, I think most of us had Rami Malek, Mahershala Ali, and Regina. You know, Regina was a little shakier too, but Mahershala we all knew. And even adapted screenplay, some question, but Black Klansman was kind of more or less the popular pick that came through. We did see some upsets though in original screenplay where most people had The Favorite, or they had something else. You know. It was kind of split there between Green Book, Vice, First Reformed, which I picked. But it was Green Book that won. Green Book took Picture, which, again, most people had Roma, but the alternative, I think, for most everybody else was Green Book. But virtually nobody that I knew of, at least, had Olivia Colman. I mean, most everybody had Glenn Close. And yeah, that was a kind of big upset that year. I mean, I would say arguably more so than Green Book, which it did have PGA at its back. It had a Globe win, you know, all that stuff. Yeah, definitely Best Actress going to Olivia was a surprise there. So that was 2018. Then 2017, the 4 acting categories were all sewn up there by the time we got to the ceremony. Guillermo winning director, we all knew. Adapted screenplay for Call Me by Your Name, definitely. Original screenplay arguably was a four-way race between Lady Bird, Shape of Water, Three Billboards, and Get Out. So that one was a little tougher. And then picture, yeah, most people were split between either Shape of Water, Get Out, or Three Billboards. So that was one where it's like we didn't really have anything in the top 8 categories that like absolutely shook the house, big upsets. 2016, though, yeah, Moonlight for picture. Yeah, that was a massive one. So yeah, and then arguably to some extent Casey Affleck for actor, but again, he had so many wins up to that point, it wasn't the most shocking thing in the world. And then 2015, just to end this a little bit, look at Mark Rylance winning supporting actor over Sylvester Stallone and stuff. So yeah, I mean, otherwise, I mean, Spotlight we knew was still close for picture, even if, like myself, I had Revenant and stuff. The other 3 acting categories, I think most people had, you know, there was some suspense in supporting actress, but I think most everybody had Alicia Vikander, I want to say. Some picked Kate Winslet, but yeah. And then, yeah, I think the 2 screenplay categories most everybody got that year. So anyway, so that's just that. So are we looking at, you know, this year in retrospect for the top 8 categories, which ones are we looking at that are going to be upsets? Which ones? I mean, clearly Best Actress is almost a completely open field. It feels like Supporting Actor is done. Feels like Best Actor is done, but again, I think there's a little bit more going on there. Supporting Actress could be done. We'll see what BAFTA does. But again, yeah, it's going to be a weird one there too. And I think to some extent both screenplay categories are also going to be a mystery here. So yeah, so let's start here with the screenplays at BAFTA. Adapted screenplay, I think they are going to go with the more home crowd pick here, and I think that is going to be The Father. Nomadland, I think, will be close. You know, Roma didn't win screenplay here. It really didn't win screenplay anywhere, but Nomadland has been winning screenplay at Critics' Choice and stuff. So yeah, I can see Nomadland coming back to win screenplay, even if it loses here on Sunday. But if Nomadland does win screenplay at BAFTA over The Father, then we know, okay, it's a real deal. It's probably good to go for screenplay. But yeah, I would say The Father probably wins there. Then we go to original screenplay, and again, I'm picking Promising Young Woman here, but I would, even though it's not the strongest competitor, Chicago 7, possibly. And I think Aaron Sorkin, as I recall, he won at BAFTA here for I'm going to triple check that for The Social Network. I think he won most everything that year for screenplay, even like the Globe and stuff. So I believe that's accurate, but I'm going to double check it. Yeah, of course he won. Yeah, why was I questioning it? So there's no urgency, you know, to give him a BAFTA. He's not extremely overdue by that standard. And Promising Young Woman, I think, yeah, it scored, even if without director and actress nominations, I think it still did enough there. And Sorkin was another one that missed director, too. So, yeah, Promising Young Woman there, I think it'll keep on track there to win. Okay, for supporting actress at BAFTA here, yeah, Yuya Jung, I think, is the one that's most favored to win here. But again, Maria Bakalova is close. I would even say from Rocks, Kosar Ali is possibly going to maybe get in on some vote splitting that could happen between Maria and you. So, or yeah, I don't know. I've heard, again, it's the one name, everybody pronounces it differently from what I've heard, but yeah, we'll get there. So yeah, it's that one will be exciting to watch what the result is. Kind of like at SAG there, I was like, okay, if it's Maria, maybe the race is over. But if it's Yuya Jung, or Yuya Jung, sorry, I did it again, Yuya Jung, then yeah, then we know it's there's still a little bit of suspense there, but more than likely she can gain momentum off of it. And yeah, we'll see if BAFTA does the same there. And I'm really looking at it, you know, other than foreign language film, I don't really see them awarding Minari anywhere else. Like, it's not winning director, it's probably not winning supporting actor here for Alan Kim, and stuff like that. So I think it's supporting actress and foreign language film, or film not in an English language, is probably the ones to do it there. For supporting actor, yeah, I'm going to stick with Daniel Kaluuya here. I think he's pretty primed to do that here. Actress, you know what? I'm sticking with my Bucky Becray craziness, if you will. The Becray craziness, if you will. Yeah, I think Rocks, they're going to want to give it something. And in an opportunity like this, with so many independent films getting so many acting nominations and stuff this year, yeah, I think they want to give it something. If they, I don't know how wary the voters are on the whole Bensley, I can't even say his name again, sorry. Kingsley Ben-Adir in The Rising Star, where I don't know how aware they are of that, but I don't know. I think Rocks is a popular enough movie. I mean, other than maybe because it's up for British film, right? I forget. It's not up for film, but it's on there for British film. If they don't want to give it British film, which most of the time, if it's a smaller independent production from Great Britain, it really doesn't win that one. It's usually the more highbrow ones like Skyfall, The Favorite. 1917, obviously last year. It's usually those more ones that Hollywood touches and stuff. Which this year, The Father or Promising Young Woman would be clearly the two that they would probably go for there. So, yeah, I'm picking Bucky here. But again, I'll tell you the one who I've really got my eye on who could win here and really flip the race is Vanessa Kirby. Obviously, she's kind of in a good spot there, like Olivia Colman was a couple of years ago, where she's the kind of homegrown talent, if you will, hailing from Britain. And yeah, I think I actually did read a report today, or at least the headline of it. I looked a little bit into it and then quit on it, but just because I got the point of it. But they said actually a lot of Netflix films that are up at the Oscars here got a boost, and one of them was Pieces of a Woman for getting the actress nomination. So, if enough of those people watching it now are Oscar voters who didn't necessarily see the film, they didn't vote for her in Best Actress if they were in the actors branch and stuff, now they're watching it. I don't know. I mean, I hate to be the kind of sound conspiracy theory here, just because I like her performance the best of the four that I've seen. I don't know, at the Oscars, that is. I don't know. I think there's a legit chance that if she wins BAFTA, that momentum can carry over, especially when we have such a split year here with Best Actress. I mean, literally every award ceremony so far has given it to somebody else. Andra Day, the Globe, Carey Mulligan, the Critics' Choice, and now Viola Davis at SAG. So why not the trend continue? And I mean, it seems like it's going to go that way regardless, because those three are not nominated here at BAFTA. So regardless, we're going to have somebody different at BAFTA. And it's, like I said, if it's Bucky, then that means that Frances and Vanessa go into the Oscars 0 for 4 between those ceremonies there. But they're the only ones nominated everywhere. So that kind of cues in that Mark Rylance thing. And if you look at just those two on that footing there, Frances, being a producer on Nomadland, which seems to be the front runner right now for picture, she'll already get an Oscar there if she wins there. So that frees you up to give it to Vanessa Kirby if you feel like sharing the wealth. But if you feel like giving Frances picture and actress and being, Alejandra Inarritu, who won 3 Oscars in one night, or famously, what's his name? James L. Brooks winning 3 Oscars the night of Terms of Endearment and stuff, or I believe it was 3. I think he was producer on it too. Yeah, if you feel like you're giving, all your 3, multiple Oscars to the same person and stuff. Even Peter Farrelly a couple years ago won for picture and for writing, so he got 2 Oscars and stuff. So yeah, I mean, if they really don't do that way, then yeah, they can go Frances in Best Actress too. But yeah, I don't know. I don't know. I mean, for now, just to be fun, yes, I did switch back over at the Oscars to Vanessa Kirby, just to be fun. Now, it all depends on BAFTA. If BAFTA goes for her, I'm going to keep her. And until I hear something significant otherwise, I'm going to keep her there. And then if it's Bucky, then I think I will go back to Carey Mulligan. I think Carey Mulligan, I've had her, I think it was right before the Globes, I think I finally switched her. When the Oscar votes came out, I think I had Carey still, if I'm remembering right. No, yeah, because that was after the Globes, yeah. I think I've always had Carey since the Oscars have actually been nominated here. Since the nominations have come out, I've had Carey. But up to that point, I was kind of switching between her and Viola, or between Viola and Vanessa Kirby and a few others there. So yeah, it's that's the thing. And if Frances wins, then I don't know. I don't know, because again, I think a lot of people, like, making this comparison again here, but I think a lot of people last year or last Oscar ceremony were very aware when De Niro kept missing at all these award shows for actor for The Irishman. They were aware he was a producer on the film. So even though he wasn't getting an individual nomination for actor, he was still getting included by being a Best Picture nominee as a producer on The Irishman. I don't know how. Again, I think more people are aware now than they were, like, say, when the nominations came out. But I think definitely fewer people are aware of that fact with Frances McDormand this year for Best Actress, and also being a producer on Nomadland. So I don't know. I mean, it's going to be really curious to see how that goes down. And as I recall, Frances did not win a BAFTA for Fargo. I know she won, as we mentioned here, a couple of years ago, 3 years ago now, for Three Billboards, but I don't think she won. No, the only BAFTA that Fargo won was actually for Best Director for Joel Coen. It'd be the whatever they call it, the Lean or David Lean Award or whatever for direction or whatever. So Frances really, unless I'm missing one somewhere along the way there, she's only got the one BAFTA. So, you know, she has 2 Oscars, she has 2 SAG awards and stuff. Only has the 1 Globe still, but as far as I'm aware, I can't remember because obviously Nomadland won for film at the Globes, but I think that one, it's usually just the one producer who takes it or whatever. I don't think they divvy them out like they do the Oscars. But I don't know. I could be wrong about that. But still, yeah, it's, I don't know. It's like, we'll see what they want to do here. But yeah, legit 3-way race there at BAFTA. But yeah, I'll go Bucky. For Best Actor, I'm going to buck the trend a little bit here. I'm going to go Anthony Hopkins. I think, again, the film is hitting just enough at this point. Not to say it's going to happen at the Oscars, but I think to an extent, there are some voters who are really kind of done with the Chadwick thing. I mean, I hate to say it, but because the film came out so early, still, it hit the festival circuit stuff, but still released on Netflix in December, even though, obviously in another year, in a normal Oscar year, that'd be pretty late in the season. It was relatively early this year, since we had stuff like The Father really making a splash in the middle of March, right after nominations come out and stuff. So yeah, I mean, I don't know. I feel like The Father, more people have caught up to it. Hopkins' performance, I think it's brilliant. I still think Chadwick gives the best performance of the nominees here, again, that I've seen. I haven't caught up with like the Mortanian or Another Round that are nominated here at BAFTA. But I think I've seen all the 5 for at the Oscars, though. So I think, yeah, of the 5, yeah, at the Oscars, yeah, I think Chadwick, yeah, he's got that for my pick there for who gives the best performance. But Hopkins, it's a role that really lends itself to him and stuff. And in some ways, it is just Anthony Hopkins being Anthony Hopkins. The main character's name is Anthony after all and stuff. But with Chadwick, though, it's such a different performance, such a different role for him. It's hard to see it as just Chadwick. It's more, it's you see the character more than you see Chadwick there. So I think definitely in that battle, sometimes we make that comparison, and stuff. But yeah, this in that respect, I still think Chadwick wins that regard. But I'm just reminded, too, of the year of Glenn Close, frankly, because she had won, other than the tie at the Critics' Choice between her and Lady Gaga, she'd won the Drama Globe, she'd won SAG and stuff. It's like she felt like she was in sweep mode, especially after the SAG win and stuff, and after the speech and everything. I'm like, okay, Glenn's got everything going forward. And then BAFTA happened, and then it was Olivia Colman. And like Olivia Colman in The Favorite did pretty well at BAFTA that year, and I think The Father, if it picks up screenplay and maybe gets a couple other things along the way, and possibly British film, but also, maybe striking in film, possibly film editing. I don't really see it as a front runner there, so I didn't even name it there. But if in some odd way it wins editing or something, then we could see Anthony Hopkins kind of go along for the ride and take an acting award too. Now, obviously, in comparison, though, Chadwick, it's his first time up at most every award show here this year. Anthony already has a couple of BAFTAs to his name, including, and he has also won an Oscar and stuff. He hasn't won a. I totally forgot this, and I didn't even catch it until late. He's never actually won a SAG, and he didn't obviously win last week, but or last Sunday, I mean, but and he didn't win a Globe either, and he hasn't ever won a Globe competitively. Yeah, I don't know. Something tells me to go Anthony Hopkins here, so I'm going to do it. If he wins here, I don't know about him carrying over to the Oscars, though, just with BAFTA, because again, it's like, okay, is it more a British thing? Because that's our argument for, that was our argument against Olivia Colman, but she still pulled through. I don't know. I mean, I don't know if I would put Glenn Close in the same camp as Chadwick, because obviously Chadwick has not lost anything up to this point. He's not tied with anybody either. He even had a few critics awards to his name as well this year. Glenn Close, I think, maybe pulled a couple critics awards, but otherwise that was kind of all over the place that year from what I remember for critics prizes for actress. But I don't know. It's like deep down, I think a lot of people were voting for Olivia Colman. They're like, oh, so many people are already voting for Glenn, so I don't know. I'll vote for Olivia. I don't know if there's enough of that going on in the vice versa this year, where it's like where everybody has the mentality of, oh, everybody else is voting for Chadwick, so I'm going to vote for Anthony Hopkins, or I'm going to vote for Riz Ahmed, or I'm going to vote for somebody else there. It's like, I don't know. I don't really sense that. I think it's Chadwick at the Oscars still, but I think Anthony, though, for now. Tonight, and official prediction is he will win BAFTA. Speaking of the father, it is my pick for British film, but again, I think really we're looking at a few other ones that it could come down to here. I think The Mauritanian is one that hardly anybody's talking about for British film. I think that one actually stands a legitimate shot. I've actually got it ranked above Promising Young Woman, who's the presumptive frontrunner. I think Rocks and The Dig have a shot at it. The Dig, I think, less so. But Rocks, I would say, maybe a little more so. I would say that's more of a competitive fourth place one for me right now. So I think, I think it does come down to those four. But yeah, I think a fewer people are talking about The Mauritanian than they need to. It's a film nominee. It's up for screenplay. It's got one acting nomination to it as well. I think it's one that could strike there and we could all miss it. But I don't know. Again, we go with the more glitzy, glammy, more Hollywood productions. And to an extent, The Mauritanian does have a little bit of that going on as well. But I don't know. I think the father here wins that one. Okay, then for best director in film. For best director, I think it's Chloe Zhao. I think it's Nomadland. I think whoever the director is for Rocks, I forget their name, but I believe it's a female director. If anybody would upset, I think it's her. I don't think it's Vinterberg for another round, even though he does have the Oscar nomination, because it's not like Paul Pawlowski all of a sudden won for Cold War after he got in at BAFTA. Still kicking myself that I could have gotten that prediction right and I didn't at the Oscars. But that being said, Nomadland is also my pick here for film. A few people are picking Promising Young Woman. A few people are picking The Father. They stand something of a shot of winning here. But I think Nomadland, again, has some of those, European filmmaking sentiments to it, the way that Roma did. So I think it'll appeal more to the crowd there. And I think, it could be a thing all over again, because 1917 started, kind of getting on a roll there with Globes, with PGA and DGA and stuff like that. It kind of got on a roll there, so BAFTA also picked it as well. Obviously, part of it was because they liked the film so much, but also I think part of it might have been just like that's the way they thought the wind was blowing, and they had gotten, if they look at it retrospectively of, getting Best Picture wrong so many times, and it's been pretty much every film after 12 Years a Slave they've gotten wrong, including 1917 now. But yeah, I definitely think Nomadland, it's in that, that La La Land position where it's like it's won everything. It really hasn't shown any weakness as far as on paper, as far as winning everything. Outside of that circle, though, are we seeing any backlashes toward the film? At this point in the race, clearly no. Clearly not as much buzz as there was the year of La La Land. And even that, like I said, I'm in the Midwest, so I'm not on the Hollywood streets, where La La Land, people were getting to it late and really being disappointed in it and stuff, or saying, you know, wow, my expectations were way up here and the film was kind of here, you know, stuff like that, you know. But you know, I can't say 100% that those, you know, vibes weren't at least somewhat out there on Twitter and stuff, and that some film journalists and stuff were, you know, picking up on that. You know, because there were, like, I think, I don't know if I remember even mentioning it in my final Oscar predictions that year, if there was a groundswell on Twitter or these other places that Moonlight was going to win. I can't remember if I even mentioned it, but I know I had heard it a couple places. But yeah, clearly, you know, what happened. But yeah, I don't know. I'm really not sensing that right now around Nomadland. And when you look at, you know, the rest of the field there for picture, I mean, what's really been keeping me from going back to something like Chicago 7, which I predicted for a little bit, or Minari, which I've predicted on and off this season, there's really not a one solid film I can go to and say, okay, that's the one to take it down, you know. Last year, Parasite was pretty much the one to go to. It was like, okay, it's got a director nomination and screenplay. It's missing those acting nominations, but it's got editing and stuff. It's like, it's a very, you know, well-respected film. It was, you know, 100% on Rotten Tomatoes for the longest time and stuff. And it's, you know, it's the fun movie. It's the discovery movie. It's, you know, everybody's kind of, you know, it's just such a popular pick among so many people, critics and even movie fans. Maybe not like the mass audiences that go to see Star Wars and stuff, but you know, most, you know, hardcore movie fans who see the independent stuff as well as the big blockbuster stuff like myself. We were all just ranting and raving about how good Parasite was, and it's still clearly a great film. But it was that clear turning point. It was that clear sorry, not turning point. It was that clear I just said it. I just said the word I'm trying to think of right now, and I've forgotten it. Alternative, yeah. It's that clear alternative we can go to. With Roma, even though it didn't on paper look like the clear alternative, you know, Green Book had PGA and a Globe win, and, you know, otherwise had been nominated most everywhere else, at least for film, and it had an editing nomination and stuff, a couple acting nominations, so it definitely had some support there. In 2017, you know, if you were thinking Three Billboards was out front, then, you know, an alternative was Shape of Water, which was a little bit more of a consensus pick, a little less divisive in many ways, and so on and so forth there. And I'm looking at the field here. I don't really see that clear alternative, because Minari, I think, is definitely, it's got a lot of heart to it, and it's a film that still, you know, it got the director nomination, got a couple of acting nominations. Like I said a few times through the season here, it's not up for international film, so it doesn't have that roadblock in front of it that Parasite had to, you know, clearly in retrospect drove right through to win Best Picture, but it doesn't have that road bump there. But even then, you know, it couldn't win at SAG, it didn't win at the Critics' Choice or anything. It's really, you know, couldn't upset for PGA or anything. So I feel like, and it's not going to obviously be a BAFTA winner for Best Film. So, I don't know. I'm not really seeing the groundswell of support there. The only support really we've seen for it is in these different voting bodies is when it is up for foreign language film, it wins there. Or, you know, in the case of SAG, when it's up for supporting actress, they'll pick it there, but maybe not for ensemble. Chicago 7, on the other hand, I think going into the season after we got the kind of big early three with Globes, SAG, and Critics' Choice, it felt like the front runner in many ways. Or if it wasn't the front runner the way that Nomadland, you know, arguably was at that point, it felt like the more clear alternative. It felt like, okay, it's going to get a director nomination as well. Screenplay, it will probably win and stuff. SAG, ensemble, we think it's going to take and stuff, but it came up short at the Globes, came up short at Critics' Choice, did win SAG, but it's like, I don't know, it's like, it kind of feels in retrospect like a little bit more of a hollow victory than I think, obviously, Netflix is hoping for. But I really don't sense a lot behind it otherwise. It's missing the director nominations at the last two big televised ceremonies here. Doesn't really stand a shot at winning DGA or anything. Yeah, so it does feel like, you know, the wind's been out of the sails of that one here for a little while. And I think even goes back to, you know, right after the Globe losses and stuff, I think is when that really started to kick in, I think. And then Promising Young Woman is the only other one that has, most of the other key categories you would need there, like director, writing, editing, and acting. And I think Promising Young Woman, frankly, it's going to be way too divisive amongst voters, and especially the who I believe are still a majority if you do the breakdown stuff, the white, elderly, male voters. I can see a few of them going for it, but I think there's still going to be some that are going to be like, wow, this is a little too, either it's too dark for them, because it is in many ways, a thriller. I mean, it's dark comedy too, but it's like the thriller aspects, I don't know if they'll necessarily go for, I'm not sure if enough of them even went for Parasite. They probably still, enough of them that saw it still said, oh, okay, I liked it enough to put it at number 3 or number 4, and that, helped it. But I don't know. I think they won't like that. Obviously, the film has a lot of pro-feminist arguments that I don't think a lot of them are going to, and I don't know, I'm not going to group them all together or anything. But, definitely enough of them are not going to enjoy to put it over the top, I would say. There's going to be enough that rank it 7th, 8th, or even 6th place to keep it from being obviously a straight line number 1 vote, but also keep it, from getting all the recounts and stuff. I don't really see it benefiting from that. Yeah, otherwise, I mean, Judas and the Black Messiah and Sound of Metal are more of those kind of hip movies, the ones that are more discovery movies and stuff. But really, I don't see, both. I mean, Judas especially, it's missing editing and directing. Sound of Metal is missing directing, but it does have the writing nomination. But again, it didn't have a PGA win, wasn't even up for a picture at the Globes, and we just, as I was making the argument for One Night in Miami, that would be the first time since Crash, really, where you had a competitive drama race, not even, the winner not even be nominated at the Globes. And yeah, I really don't sense that for Sound of Metal. So yeah, and then Judas the Black Messiah, same thing there, where it's like, yeah, I got the 2 supporting actor nominations stuff, and that was a kind of a surprise there Oscars morning, but I don't know. I don't see it coming through and doing that. So okay. So yeah, I think it is kind of Nomadland kind of by default. It's got enough, stuff behind it right now. I mean, I'm not reluctantly predicting it, but I'm just kind of looking at it like, okay, we all, most of us at least saw that Parasite had, at the minimum, an opportunity to take down 1917 last year. But I think there's really, again, when we're looking at all these, there's enough cons to enough of these films. We can't really pick just one. It's like, I think there's going to be people that vote for all these films, obviously. But the people that are going to go for Minari over Nomadland, I don't know. I mean, again, to an extent, I think some Oscar voters are going to say, well, we just gave it to a Korean film last year. Why do we have to give it to a Korean film every goddamn year? They're going to have that mentality, and I think it's going to keep the film down a little bit. So, yeah, I mean, and then Chicago 7, like I said, yeah, I don't, even after the SAG win, it's like, that's really not that wasn't the category everybody came away from with SAG. It was definitely Best Actress and Viola Davis, and how that category is in complete panic mode now. So yeah, I don't know, but yeah, I mean, I'll have to talk about it some other time here. But yeah, that Best Actress category, wow. I mean, again, literally all 5 candidates have a legit shot, I think. I think all 5 of them are in, you can, again, slice it all 5 ways and say, okay, here's how this one wins. Here's how this one wins. Each of them have a path there. And then, yeah, supporting actress, I think, again, there's still some mystery there. I would say definitely Glenn Close could be, again, just one of those things where it just comes through, just wins the Oscars and nothing else. It could be. I mean, but again, I think Minari overall, I think, is a stronger film. Yuya Jung, I think, is going to be maybe the last chance for that film to win anything, because I don't see it winning Best Actor. It's not going to win Director. I don't think it wins Screenplay. I think Promising Woman has that. But if Minari is stronger than we're thinking, and actually is our Best Picture winner, Screenplay very likely goes along for the ride in a big upset there. So that's one we'll watch for on Oscars night. But again, I think Promising Young Woman probably has that. All right. Yeah, we'll probably talk about some other Oscar categories and stuff overall in a separate video here. I'll see if I have time for it tomorrow, or maybe even Friday or Saturday before BAFTA. But definitely post-BAFTA, we'll definitely take another look at the Oscar nominees and see, okay, who benefits from Okay, this lighting is absolutely awful. I'm sorry, guys. That's I had my screen zip, so I wasn't able to. I don't really like to watch myself while I'm recording because I'll think I'm looking terrible. But this really does look like shit. So I don't know. I'll have to see about maybe getting a lamp or something when I don't have direct sunlight coming in or something, because this, yeah, it didn't look good. So all right, but yeah, that's my BAFTA predictions, and kind of stuck with them. So we'll see everybody on the other side of it on Sunday. Again, I'll see about. I mean, obviously, I won't be able to watch. Well, I'm sorry, I won't be able to do live reactions or anything to that. But I think I'll be able to watch the show this year. I think I will be here. So with BBC America finally. So that's, you know, like I said early on, that's the trade-off. I don't get to watch. I don't have the CW with my current cable package, so I wasn't able to watch Critics' Choice. But I'll, at least for the first time, be able to watch BAFTAs. So that'll be fun. All right. So we'll catch up with everybody after, definitely after BAFTA, but we'll see if we have time before BAFTA. We'll get into some more Oscar categories. I will look at them and see what I'm thinking on those.